Today we're diving deep into one of the most rare and jaw-dropping values, incredible coin stories ever told, a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so potentially valuable that even seasoned collectors. Imagine holding a piece of history so powerful that it could be worth $265,000. We're talking about an old, dirty, 2009 Bicentennial Professional Life penny. The kind of coin that makes even hardened collectors whisper this shouldn't exist. Let's go back to where it all began, to the spring of 2009, when the U.S. Mint released a special series to commemorate 200 years of bicentennial celebrations. These coins weren't meant to be lavish. They weren't meant to be extraordinary, and absolutely no one expected them to become legends. Among the coins released was a small number of what came to be called the Professional Life penny, identical in appearance to the standard 2009 penny, bearing the familiar silhouette of Lincoln, yet strikingly different in how it was produced. Regular pennies, the ones we spend every day, are struck on automated presses with modern dies, meant to produce millions upon millions of coins with standard quality. But the Professional Life penny was struck differently. These coins were special test strikes, often referred to as pattern coins, created by the United States Mint under strict conditions to experiment, test options, and sometimes to celebrate unique designs. A pattern coin is never intended for circulation. It's almost like a prototype, a glimpse into the thinking of the Mint's engravers and technicians. And because they were never supposed to enter commerce, very few were made. For decades, numismatists have valued pattern coins, coins that test new designs, new compositions, or new finishes, as some of the most collectible and valuable pieces in existence. But the story of the Professional Life penny rises above even the typical pattern coin mystery. That's because somewhere between 2009 and today, maybe just a handful of these specially struck pennies escaped the vault. How they got out is still debated. Some say an employee mistakenly slipped one into their pocket. Others claim it was released through a distribution error. There are even whispers of a deliberate leak, a rogue insider fascinated by numismatics. We don't know for sure, and that uncertainty adds to the legend. For years, the existence of the Professional Life penny was nothing more than conjecture, a whispered rumor among deep-cut collectors. Many said it was just a myth, a modern coin hoax. But then, something incredible happened. One of these coins was authenticated by a respected third-party grading service, the same organizations that grade and certify coins for collectors around the world. They confirmed it was authentic, genuine, and unlike any other known 2009 penny. The numismatic community exploded. Once the coin was publicly acknowledged, suddenly everyone was on high alert. People began digging through old coin collections, searching jars of pennies in basements, and flipping over every 2009 penny they could find. Why? Because if a tiny handful of Professional Life pennies escaped years ago, could there be more out there? The potential value alone was enough to trigger a modern treasure hunt. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket, change worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now let's talk value. When that first authenticated Professional Life penny hit the auction block, the world watched. At first, bidders were skeptical. Would anyone really pay extraordinary money for a modern penny? But the answer was a thunderous yes. As the auction clock wound down, collectors around the globe pushed the price higher and higher. The final hammer price soared past $190,000, leaving everyone stunned. This wasn't a small number, it was historic. And that was just the beginning. Within months, whispers of another Professional Life penny began circulating. This one was even more worn, dirt ingrained in its surfaces, years of mystery etched into its metal. And when news of it reached auction houses, speculation reached a frenzy. Experts debated its authenticity, condition, and backstory. Some said it was worth more, others weren't so sure. Waiting for the auction results felt like waiting for a solar eclipse, rare, tense, unforgettable. When bidding finally closed, that dirty, enigmatic Professional Life penny didn't just sell, it shattered expectations. The final bid climbed past $265,000 and continued upwards through private offers. Collectors whispered in awe, a coin from 2009 worth more than many historic rarities. That sale confirmed something no one could deny: the Professional Life penny was not only real, it was a modern numismatic titan. But collectors and historians didn't stop there. Rumors persisted of another specimen, even rarer, more elusive, possibly lurking unseen in private collections or forgotten change boxes. Some speculated this version might be graded even higher, with characteristics that make it unique among unique coins. Could it fetch $1.30 million or more? Some experts say yes. The mere possibility ignites headlines and drives collectors to scrutinize every penny in their possession. Part of what makes this coin so special is not just its rarity, it's the mystery behind its origin. Pattern coins are fascinating by nature because they reveal what could have been. They're glimpses into alternate numismatic histories. The Professional Life penny represents a story untold what the bicentennial commemoration might have looked like if experimental designs had been fully adopted. That creative spark, captured on a tiny copper-plated zinc disc, is what ignites the imagination of collectors. Another reason collectors go wild over this coin is error and variety potential. In the world of coins, errors fascinate like nothing else. Doubled dies, missing letters, off-center strikes, each one tells a story about how the coin was made. In the case of the Professional Life penny, collectors have identified subtle indicators that separate it from ordinary 2009 pennies. First, the finish. Many of these coins show a slightly different surface sheen, a test strike reflectivity that differs from standard circulation issues. Next, the edge's careful examination reveals tiny differences in rim sharpness, indicating it was struck with a different die set under test conditions. Then there are the dies themselves. Experts compare the lettering, date style, and die markers with known specimens. Hidden clues like die cracks, spacing variations, or micro-engraving differences help authenticate these coins. For collectors, spotting these markers feels like deciphering a secret code. Every tiny feature adds to the story and increases the potential value. Identifying a genuine Professional Life penny is no easy task. It requires careful study, comparison with known examples, and often grading by an expert third-party service. Many collectors turn to magnification, lighting, and side-by-side comparisons with certified examples. A deep understanding of die markers features unique to specific strikes becomes essential. Once identified, the next step is authentication. Professional graders evaluate whether the coin is truly a rare pattern or just an ordinary penny with superficial quirks. And once authenticated, the numerical assessment of the coin's condition becomes critical to value. Coins graded at higher levels command significantly higher prices. But in the case of the Professional Life penny, even worn examples, dirty, circulated, with surface scratches, are astonishingly valuable precisely because they exist at all. The coins that show wear tell a unique story, one of years spent in circulation before their rarity was ever known. That narrative makes them even more desirable to collectors who value provenance, the story of a coin's life. Now, let's talk auction sales and record prices, the numbers that made history. The first authenticated Professional Life penny, clean, brilliant, and pristine, commanded a sale price that stunned the numismatic world. The live auction saw intense bidding, with collectors locked in competition from multiple continents. When that final hammer fell, the coin sold for over $190,000, a price most pennies can only dream of. But then the dirty one came, a version that looked like any old penny pulled from circulation. Yet when experts confirmed its identity, the world stood up and took notice. At auction, as bids climbed, the atmosphere became electric. Each bid was met with tension, the crowd silent with anticipation. When the final sale closed at over $265,000, it wasn't just a number, it was a statement. Modern coins could reach values rivaling centuries-old rarities. Collectors cheered, dealers nodded in respect, and the coin community embraced a new legend. And there are more stories, private sales exchanging hands for staggering sums unseen by the public. Whispers of offers exceeding $500,000, rumors of collectors unwilling to disclose sales above $750,000, even speculation that a top-grade version, if ever revealed, could approach $1.30 million or more. These aren't fantasies, they are projections rooted in scarcity, collector demand, and the historical precedents of pattern and error coins achieving massive values.